Spin Up 2019.
I am done.
Kelly from Ready, Set, Drone put together an amazing event, and I just wanted to make a quickie preview of some of the stuff you guys are going to be seeing here on the channel. We got ourselves out there and did some fun FPV flying, got some crazy shots. We did a little exploring here in some private land, and we just all around had a great time. The speech went over pretty well.
What did you get to? Maybe 3 seconds, 5 seconds here? Did anybody actually count?
Now that I've done it, hopefully Kelly asked me back to MC the whole event next year. I think we could have some fun. So stay tuned for a lot more cool, fun footage to come. I've got about 4 or 5 videos from the event coming your way, so make sure you don't miss those. Remember, click that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon, and sharing is caring. Make sure this is on. If my audio is not, no sound again. Damn it. I'm talking. Is it fixed? Is it fixed? Damn it, man. Waiting for the chat. Give me a thumbs up if it's fixed. It's fixed. Got sound. Okay. Let me start over. If you're watching this in a replay, sorry about that. If you're here live, thanks for putting up with me. You always forget to click one little button. There's always one little button that's forgotten. And of course, I forgot it. So Spin Up 2021 has been announced. Kelly from Ready, Set, Drone has finally dropped the bomb on us. And it is November 6th of this year. So those of you who don't know what Spin Up is, it is a collection of people who like drones, action cameras, regular cameras, YouTube, drones being the main connection thing, but YouTube being the secondary connection thing, because we all sort of meet and talk with each other through YouTube. And Kelly puts on this awesome event where we can come out and get to meet each other, listen to some speeches, different people every year, which is really cool, and go fly. It's not always just about, hey, listening to people. It's about a lot of us getting together and having these little mini events at the main event. And this year, I'm having Kelly come on today to be able to talk to you guys, the ones who don't know, to be able to learn more about it and to hopefully get your tickets and join us all for such a fun event. That video you just watched was 2019, prior to the pandemic. And it was a great time. A lot of you were in that video. A lot of you will be in the video I make for the 2021 Spin Up. So I'm very excited about that. We're going to have Kelly join us here just shortly. We're going to have probably a shorter show tonight, but really I want to, whoa, 808 State, what's up? Thank you so much for the super chat. That would be dope, dude. I would love to meet you. Hopefully you can make it. That would be really cool. There's going to be a lot of fun things. When we had Spin Down last year and we didn't have the in-person Spin Up, a lot of us went, well, all of us, most of us went to go bowling after. So I'm going to be twisting Kelly's arm to see if we can do something like that and get a few lanes together, because it doesn't matter if you're good at bowling. It was an absolute blast. to all get together and just bond that much more, have a couple drinks, bowl and suck. And some of us were better than others, but most of us sucked. So it was an absolute blast to do that. I know I haven't been on the channel. Let me give you a little update on the channel real quick, and then maybe we'll have Kelly jump in with us shortly. I've been so busy. Most of the videos you've seen me editing and putting up over the last 3 months, 4 months have been things that have been filmed prior to the last 3-4 months, and I'm just now trying to get them up. Jaybird, thank you so much for the super chat, man. That's awesome. Are you going to be coming to Spin Up this year? Just don't bowl against Kelly. Remember, I beat him. I had a higher score than him. Now, that was probably just luck, but I did beat Rosie. And it was my highlight of the night because I'm not good. So it was really funny to beat the guy that was actually better than everybody. Anyways, what was this? You know what? The channel. What I'm working on real quick. I am working on new videos finally. I'm still editing a bunch of content that was filmed over the last few months, and I'm going to be getting back on track. I've sort of taken a slight hiatus from YouTube while I was going through some things and taking care of some things personally, which tonight is not the night to talk about. However, I will be editing and getting those videos up, and hopefully tomorrow I'll be posting a video on the Insta360 Go-To camera. It's a tiny little pocket camera that fits in what looks like an iPhone case, and it is magnetic, so it comes right out, and it is the tiniest little thing. Like, it's tiny. It's really cool. So yeah, looking forward to that. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, make sure you stay tuned. Let's go ahead and bring Kelly from Ready Set Drone, who we all know and love. It looks like he is backstage waiting for us. So let's go ahead and bring him in right now. And oh my God, Art, look at that. Art with a super chat.
What is up, everybody? How we doing?
What's up, Kelly?
Good
You know,
to
it's
see you,
taken me so many live shows to realize which way to always go opposite.
Yeah, you always go the opposite. What's up, Art? Hey, Art says Spin Up rocks, and Art is right.
I agree. I agree.
Art's been there a few times. Art's actually won a few of the big prizes at Spin Up. I think he won the RoboMaster 2 years ago.
Is one of the luckiest guys I know. The most lucky guy I know.
I think you were actually supposed to win the RoboMaster, and then Art ended up winning because speakers can't win.
Yeah, somehow I had gotten some tickets with my little package, even though I was a speaker, and so I had to politely decline taking the. Hey, I didn't give them. Somebody else put it in there, Kelly. It wasn't me. I didn't reach behind the counter there.
Yeah, I saw you back there. Like, hey, what's over there? Grab the tickets.
Yeah, that's me. You know me.
Hey, I'm so glad you played that highlight reel because it actually, I hadn't seen it in a while. I've seen that highlight reel a few times, but it was one of the best ones that was done for sure. And just so much fun. I mean, everybody getting to meet each other. All right, we got all these folks like we got Matt Cundiff in the chat right now, and I've never met Matt, and I'm gonna meet him. I'm super excited about that because Matt's one of those guys that's on all of these things. You know, it's so great to finally get people together in real life. The YouTubers, the people who just want to hang out, the speakers. I mean, it's a good time, as you know.
Yeah, I agree. I love it when Chris is in the chat because he always lets me know how my mic is because I don't have headphones in and I can't hear myself through it. And I always forget to check prior to starting the show.
Did you I'm trying to think if you've met Sunrise Water Media in person.
Not in person yet. No.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, he talk about somebody with some awesome musical chops. Chris is and he just had a really tragic FPV accident. So if you haven't checked out Sunrise Water Media, go check out his channel and see his. I think that actually Kai had an invisible FPV drone that he flew into Chris because Kai's kind of a bully. You haven't met Kai either. You're going to meet him. Not. Oh man, he's the trip. He's
well, you know, when I come out, if we get together and it's not too late when I get there that evening, if we go to that some field or park or something that first night, Friday night, we should invite a couple people.
Yeah, I'm down for that. So
make a little thing of gathering.
So definitely, Sean, you know, having had you speak at Spin Up before, and you've actually come out all 3 times, right? Yeah,
I've been all of them, every single one so far, even the online only one.
Well, this year, I'm excited because we are going to do a really solid live stream. So if people can't come, the live stream is going to be multiple cameras. It's going to have people like running it, so it's not just kind of set it and forget it like we did 2 years ago. Last year's live stream I thought was pretty good. Like it was pretty well done. It had good quality. We were at my office, so we had a really good internet connection. This place where we're having the event this year, which is in Cedar Park, which is just a little bit north of Austin, has a very fast internet connection and shouldn't be any problem for us to do a multicam live stream from it. Much rather have people come out in person, but as far as being able to just watch it, absolutely free to watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, one of the things that interests me is all the behind the scenes stuff. That's one of the things when I first reached out to you, it was because I like making videos with other people and then seeing how they film things and then watching their end results. It's really cool to get to watch them edit and what they do, but you can sort of pick it apart once you see their end result if you watch how they film.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You can kind of see what their, or at least you think what their vision is. Sometimes it surprises you, right? You're like, oh, I had no idea you're going to do that. You're going to edit it that way or whatever. But hey, I see Ray Kelly in the house too. That's awesome.
What's up, man? There's a nice little group already joining us. Yeah. Definitely a lot of people that were just over on Ron and Marcus's show, Drone Nation, which used to be Xeno Nation. They were over there and they threw a little shout out for their guys to come over here. So we welcome you all from Drone Nation. Thank you very much for joining us.
Absolutely. And I'm glad they changed their name because Xeno Nation was a little niche.
Yeah, I think Drone Nation's great. I think it's a good change. They did a good thing.
Yep. Agreed.
And Ron and those guys and Marcus, they're great, man. They're always promoting so many other people.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing with YouTube. So there's a few people that get out here and they get a little weird about promoting other people's stuff, but it's such a huge market that all of us should never, ever, ever worry about promoting other people because there's plenty to go around.
It is called an abundance mentality versus a scarcity mentality. And I think this community has a lot of that abundance mentality.
I agree.
So Sean, you had mentioned about maybe us doing some fun stuff with an FPV drone. Sean has this crazy idea that involves firearms and an FPV drone, and I don't want to spill the beans too much, but he's coming down. So his dad lives outside of Austin, and he's actually going to come down to visit his dad. So I'm going to go hang out with him for a bit while he's here, and we might be doing some things with FPV and a shotgun. That's all I'm going to say.
You're going to get me in trouble before we even do it.
Who thinks that's a terrible idea? By the way, his dad has a big piece of property, so we won't be doing this anywhere where anybody could get hurt. Yeah.
Well, and definitely if we do it like on a Saturday or Sunday, we need to be careful with motors. We don't want to have although we're like going to be way over the water, you're still going to have some gravity effect.
Yeah. No, it's funny because you were talking to me. We were talking earlier. I talked to Sean on the phone earlier today, and we were talking about the fact that flying, whether it's flying FPV or flying camera drone, you kind of the first few times you do it, you have a little nerves, and you're kind of like you're figuring out how the controls work, and it's not very smooth, etc. And that's true even with like a Mavic or something. But when you get together or when you start doing it, you get this muscle memory. And so Sean was saying he hadn't flown FPV in a while. I haven't flown FPV. I've been working on a project with my camera drones, and it's a cool project. So I'm excited about it, doing some hyperlapses and stuff of a stadium. But the FPV I haven't flown in a while. I'm hoping to get out and fly a little bit this coming weekend. And I was telling Sean, it's like riding a bike. You just suddenly you put the sticks up, about 5 minutes, you're back into it right where you were before. Hey, I see my brother Brad. What's up, Brad? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, I just saw him come in. Quite a few more people just jumped in. And so welcome to all the people just joining us right now. We haven't gotten into the meat and potatoes of Spin Up yet. So I don't want to just assume that everybody here knows exactly what it is. That's something I think we sometimes take for granted, that everyone's just jumping in from one channel to another and we all know what something is. But there's always a new person or a straggler that is like, well, what exactly is that? So if you want, Kelly, why don't you take a second? I earlier said what I thought it was about, which was the meetup and the joint love of YouTube, drones, camera gear, things like that. Why don't you put it in your own words?
Well, I mean, that covers it pretty well. I mean, the biggest thing really, when I first had the idea in 2017, I had two ideas come to mind. One was to write a song, which I finally did, and
Yes, you did.
Chris Waters made it even better. But I think, Sean, maybe when you're here, we can do like the hardcore punk version of it. But I then the second idea was we got to have a meetup for everybody, because seriously, everybody in this right now that I'm seeing, all these names are people that I've only met because of meetups like Spin Up, or occasionally going to things like the Minefield event in Tennessee that Ken puts on.
Are you going this year?
I want to go. I probably am not, though, and the reason is my daughter starts college on the 24th, and that event is on the 21st, and we are actually driving her to Flagstaff to start school. So,
okay.
So no, I don't think I'm going to.
She did not decide on Fort Collins, huh?
No, she decided on Northern Arizona in Flagstaff. But let me finish about Spin Up.
Okay. Yes.
It was this idea that we all have to meet in person, and that's what it came down to. And now I've had such a great opportunity to meet, with Roosevelt and with. I haven't met Ray Kelly in person yet. I haven't met Matt Cundiff in person yet, but I've met Michael Wright several times in person. I've met Chris Hope several times in person. I've met, all these folks that have come to the Spin Up events, and the other YouTubers that I haven't gotten to know either until Spin Up, in person. So it was just this idea that we should all come together, be in one place, and actually fly together and learn from each other. And that's what it's all about.
I'm actually really glad that I met you prior to the original Spin Up, because I was really on the fence even on the original Spin Up, because as much as I love drones, I'm a little weird about just listening to people speak. Like, not weird, I get
drone on.
easy. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it's not my thing to sit in an audience and do that kind of stuff. I don't like to even go to live shows usually, unless my band's the guy playing it in the show and I have access to do stuff. I get weird in crowds. So, but I'm so glad that I did go, because that was the start of really meeting all these people in this community.
Yeah. And it isn't, the good thing is, especially this year, it's not a lot of, there's definitely speakers, and I don't have, I haven't put any on the website yet. I actually have secured a couple more. It's all going to come out very soon. I don't want to talk about it until these people are signed on the dotted line, but we have people in the robotics industry. We have people that build drones. We have people in the manned drone industry that are going to speak. We have potentially someone from a very large company whose initials are DJI. I won't tell you their name, but their initials are DJI, who is going to speak. I mean, we have a great lineup this year, but my goal is to keep it short, and then to have a lot of activities going on between each of the. It is in Austin, by the way, to have a lot of activities in between the speeches. So it isn't just like, and all the speeches are pretty short. I mean, what did you have, Sean, when you spoke? You had like 15 minutes, right? I try to remember what it was.
My speech? No, it was more than that.
Was
I think
it more
it was
than
like
15?
30 minutes or something.
30 minutes. Okay.
I might have gone over my time though. I was the last speaker, so
if anybody's been to a TED event, or you're familiar with TED Talks, they have, I think 18 minutes is how long you have for to give a TED Talk. And so the idea was to kind of model it after that, is keep the pace fast, and then be able to have the activities that are going on after and in between each of the speeches. So that's what it'll be.
Yeah, and that's something you guys who haven't been to one of these is there's fly time, activities in between, snacks, all kinds of cool stuff to just do. And when the event is over, Kelly heard me say this, I'm hoping that we can twist everyone's arm and get a group of us to go bowling again. Because when we had Spin Down, I think we were on the fence, right? We were like, oh, this could be fun. We're not sure. And it ended up being the highlight. It was so much fun to just have everybody together, just razzing each other and giving each other a hard time while we all sucked at bowling.
And what was even cooler about it was Sean knows, he lives in a small town, so he knows everybody there. And basically he was able to get us the whole bowling alley, essentially. I mean, now this was during COVID. I'd say we all started off with masks on, and then by the end of it, nobody's wearing masks and we're all hugging and stuff. But, it worked out great. And I think we all needed that social interaction at that point. It felt like it had been a long time since I had high-fived anybody.
And so for a lot of people have actually contacted me asking if we were going to do spin down here again this year, because we did it last year. And a lot of people were hoping we were going to do the whole event like we talked about at that one time. However, with what has happened over the last year and a half and Kelly bringing this open, I think it's probably best that we don't have a meetup here prior to spin up. That way people can just save their money and go to the actual event. And maybe next year we can talk about doing something. If for those who really wanted to come up here, we'll see. We'll talk to Kelly a year from now and assess where we're at.
Yeah,
but I think it's important that they save their money and come to your event, because that's the big one. I'd feel really bad if someone came, we did a spin up or spin down here, and then they couldn't make it to spin up because they blew all their money to come here, you know?
Well, you have to have spin up first, because you can't really spin down until you've spun up, right? I mean, that's how gravity works. But yeah, I mean, you're in a beautiful location, and I know, Sean, when I've been up there several times to see you now, and that little community center, that place we went to and looked at when we were in Ed Ricker, that would be a great place to have it. There are several places where you could have an event like that. It's just, for me, if I'm the one organizing it, it's much easier to do it in your hometown, right?
I agree.
And so you can have people, but I think that having spin down in the spring up there might be a cool thing to do, but we will have a fly-in on Sunday after the event here. So if you come to spin up, I'm pretty sure we're going to do it at Old Settlers Park again, because that worked out really great the first year. It's
was that the one with the lake, right? When we
that was the one with the lake, yeah. Yes. It's very, very drone friendly park, big park, huge park,
right by the
Dell
location.
Diamond. Yeah, and it was great. We had electric skateboards, we had RC planes, we had VTOL planes going. Mel was flying this beat up thing that I had. Don't even know how he kept it in the air because the props were broken, and drones everywhere, and we were filming, and it was a good time.
Yeah, as much as it was cool the second year to all still collect in that baseball field, I didn't even put a drone up that year or do much filming because there was nothing to really film. So
yeah, that's true.
I love
the
first
not
location.
As scenic.
Yeah, so I think that's a good call. I really do. I think that people are going to really enjoy that.
Yeah, and it's close to Cedar Park where we're going to be.
Can you rent out a gazebo to make sure you hold a spot, or is it first come first
That's
serve?
a good question. I'll contact them and find out. I mean, I've met a couple of the park rangers there. I fly there a lot. That's where I go to do a lot of my reviews and a lot of my tests. And because it has a lake and it's really pretty, it's a pretty spot, I'll do a lot of footage there. So they have an AMA field there as well. So if you're, if you're a AMA member, you can fly at that AMA field where they do some drone racing sometimes, and they do fixed wing and stuff like that. But no, it's such a big park. I don't even know that we need to reserve anything, but I might contact them and just tell them there's a group of us coming, and don't hassle us.
Yeah, no, that couldn't hurt. Definitely couldn't hurt. It would suck to have that many people trying to show up and not have enough parking too, because somebody is already all in that spot. So that's why I was thinking
that's a fair point. I'll look at that. Was actually one of the advantages of the baseball field. That was our baseball field. Now, for some reason, that park was crazy busy that day, as I recall, but that field was ours. Like we had the rights to it. And then there's a big green belt right next to it. So you had a lot of space to fly, but you're right. It's just trees, right? It's not certainly.
Yeah. I think people are going to like that. You've had this, one of the events was an early morning get together where you guys fly a certain bridge, and I've never made that one. I'm hoping I can wake up early enough to join you guys.
The Pennybacher Bridge. It's like an icon of Austin over Lake Austin, and actually Lake Austin. And there's a little park right next to it where you can go take off from. And I've shot a lot of my videos there as well. So and by the way, Michael Wright is he said something funny earlier. He said, I bowl to drink, or I drink to bowl.
Oh, there it is.
I gotta ask the audience real
definitely
quick.
bowl to drink.
So last night I started watching, and it's not even my thing really, because I'm not big into like Marvel or superhero movies. I'm more of a spaceship sci-fi kind of guy than a superhero kind of guy. But I started watching Loki.
It's good, isn't it?
It's awesome. I really enjoyed it. Like, the acting is so great, and Owen Wilson was really good, like kind of surprisingly good in it. And it doesn't feel like a superhero movie. It feels more like did you ever watch Doctor Who back in the day?
I've seen a few. I could never get that into Doctor Who.
Well, I'm talking about the old Doctor Who's from like the 1980s and 70s.
Yeah, those are the only ones I've seen. I haven't seen
it had a real Doctor Who kind of vibe to it, you know. So anyway, if anybody's Michael Wright says Star Trek all the way.
Yeah,
I tried to make my
with
son watch Star
Trek.
Trek, and he said it was the cheesiest stuff he had ever watched, and it was like
especially the original. The original is like, whoa.
with Captain Kirk. As a matter of fact, I got to meet. I don't know if I told you this. I got to meet William Shatner one time. I went to see him speak in Dallas, and then they had a meet and greet afterward. And my buddy Chris, who's co-founder of my company and just it flies drones with me sometimes. He's in some of my older videos. He's moved to Florida, but Chris got us the tickets, went to see William Shatner. He was great speaking, like really interesting to hear about his life and stuff. And then afterward, you go to the meet and greet, and he's like this, like got this scowl on his face. So Chris got the pictures, and he photoshopped a smile on his face and like got it framed for me. So it's me and William Shatner shaking hands, and he's got this big grin. And I remember he was not smiling. He had a big scowl on his face.
So did he actually talk in the speech where he'd stop and then talk?
He would talk like this. He would say, Sean Oz is quite incredible, but I would say that actually Chris Hope is even better.
That would be really interesting to see live.
He didn't talk too much like that. It was a bit more of a normal cadence. But but I will say, for everyone who doesn't know, I've gone off on this on a live show before. Bill Shatner has a album called Has Been that is freaking amazing. He has it's actually a really good album.
What's it about?
Well, he did compilations with Ben Folds and with Henry Rollins. He does a song with Henry Rollins from Black Flag. He does a song with Kenny Chesney. He does a song with
like a singing album.
And he talks, and then these other people sing. But it was actually produced by Ben Folds from Ben Folds 5. And it's like a solid album all the way through. I
might have to look that up.
You should. It's called Has Been. And he's got a song. The couple that I really like, this one called Common People, that is just like, it starts off with him talking, and then it just ends with a choir and him singing and just going crazy. I'm trying to think of the guy who's in that one who sings with him. Anyway, it's amazing. And then the one with Henry Rollins is pretty good too. It's called I Can't Get Behind That.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to look that up.
I know. Imagine so I've met Henry Rollins too. I used to work at the student radio. I sound like a bragging, and I guess I am, but I used to work at the students radio station at UT at the University of Texas. Mm-hmm. And when Henry Rollins came to play in Austin, I interviewed him for our radio station at the radio at KTSB. And so Henry Rollins is not really named Henry Rollins. His name is actually Henry Garfield, or at least that's my understanding. And he changed it to Rollins. And I asked him about that. I said, "Hey, so why did you change your name to Rollins instead of Garfield?" And he looked at me and he said, "My name is Rollins. When I get a phone bill, it says Rollins. If you're not proud of your name, I don't know what your problem is." But and he's like lifting weights while he's doing it with no shirt on. You know, the dude is super buff, and he's probably about 10 years older than me too. And he was going to kick my ass. So, hey, what's up, Chris?
You just dropped the subject at that point.
Yeah. I was like, okay, Mr. Rollins,
move on.
I think the interview's over.
Hey, Chris Hope's in the room with us.
Yep.
Good to see you, Chris. So not to get too far off a spin up, for those again who are new and maybe you're watching this in the replay, it's an event. You come together. The tickets are linked in the description of this very video. The ticket prices go higher as we get closer to the event. I'm not sure when that first change is. Maybe Kelly can tell you.
Already happened. First tickets are sold out. Yep.
What?
We sold the first 50 tickets, and then the next 50 tickets, and then it went up $20. And I don't look at it as penalizing people. I look at it as rewarding people for buying early, because honestly, I've said this a million times, but the costs that go into this for the venue, for the insurance, for the food, for paying some of the speakers' travel expenses, etc., it it costs a lot to do it. So yeah, actually Matt Cundiff did get the last one at that price. So they went up $20, and then after 50 more, they'll go up another $20. So, and then that's where it stops.
So basically, you have a set price of what they are, and then we rewind the price for early buyers. So the early buyers get a discount. As you said, it's not a penalty for not buying it early, but I do get it. Man, like it is even just spin down cost us a grip of money to do just here.
Yeah,
the
venue was almost $1,000.
Yeah, and then pizza and drinks and candies and foods and all kinds. I mean, luckily I got a hookup on a lot of stuff because we use the people I knew, but still, that stuff adds up quick.
I guess who's in the chat?
Little Eddie. What are you doing, Ed? What do you mean? You hope you're going to make it? You better make it.
He's apparently got a gig that he's shooting on that weekend, but he's trying to get it covered.
Oh, come on, Ed. You can make it happen. That, and then of course we're this winter we're going to be doing some winter sports with everybody together again. I know we had slightly talked about that, so we'll figure out what month would be good for that. Maybe we should do it. The snow is awesome in February if you guys are really coming for snowboarding first, and then we can just deal with if there's good weather. Because that one year you guys got some good snow.
We did.
We did not get good flying weather.
Well, we got, I mean, and coincidentally, I was there for work last February, and I don't know if many people know this, but Jonathan Buckhouse in the house. What is up, Jonathan? Spin Up is in Austin. Spin Down is what we did last year in Dillon, but Spin Up is in Austin. But good to see you, Jonathan. I was there with you, and then that's when Snowpocalypse hit Austin. Like Austin got more snow than Denver for a couple of days. That was when the power went out in all of Texas.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, it was just a mess here. And it was just kind of funny that everybody up in Colorado is driving on ice and snow all day long. And then down here, people are just,
yeah. Well, you guys don't have the facilities and the equipment ready to go. Like here, everything's ready to go when it snows.
We don't even have a power system that'll stay on, man. I mean, pipes are bursting. Our hot water heater, which is a tankless outside, burst. So we didn't have hot water for a month after Snowpocalypse because nobody could get hot water heaters. I mean, it was just a friggin' mess.
And what was really sad is there's a local group up here on Facebook called One Man's Junk, and it's where everybody that lives in this county and vacationers join. I can add you to it if you want.
So you know that's got kind of One Man's Junk sounds a little suggestive.
Oh, it's meant to be like it started out as a garage sale page, and now I'm never going to see it the same way again.
Yeah. I don't know that I'd be looking at One Man's Junk, but go ahead.
When that happened in Texas, there's so many just jerks and assholes up in this county that feel like they own this county. They were posting, dumb Texans can't drive in the snow. And you're like, really? You've never been to Texas? They don't have the facilities. They don't have the infrastructure put into place when something like this happens for more than a day.
And we can't drive in snow. I mean, we'll admit it. We can't drive in snow.
Yeah, you have no practice at it, and you don't have the right tires.
I can remember being in your FJ up on the pass, Loveland, and thinking, oh my God, we're gonna go over the cliff. And Sean's just like driving along with one hand, look, hey man, what's going on? And oh man,
I didn't know you were that nervous, Kelly. You didn't let on. You kept it hidden.
Well, it's because you had me in the back seat, dude. You had me crammed back there in that little tiny thing, and I'm like, oh my God.
Hey, that was between you and Ed.
Huh? Yeah, Ed got
the front. You guys, whoever called shotgun, get shotgun.
Yeah, I know. I gave it to little Eddie.
Well, it was not so little.
No, he's not. He's not.
I would, if it wasn't snowy, I would have let you guys drive, but I didn't want to go over the cliff.
So, right. No, I appreciate.
What are you talking about, Jonathan? I am not a bad driver at all. You're high as a kite, buddy.
Anybody who has to say they're not a bad driver, you got to be.
Okay, now you too. You've ridden with me, and I'm not a bad driver.
It was okay. We made it. Let's see. Brad says, what are we doing Friday evening for the early bird folks like we've done before? Yes, we will have I'll have a place picked out. I'll make sure they know we're coming so that there's space available. I'd be curious too if people would be into going back to Sam's Boat. I mean, we've gone there 2 years. Everybody really like it.
Was that from the second one, the 2019 one, right?
That was 2019, and we went there with the after the live stream last year.
Yeah, it had
Remember?
the deck, right? And we all
Yeah.
sat out on the deck.
Yep,
Yeah, that had some. I would love that because there's not seafood up here that's worth a crap, and I'm
Yeah, it's
so far
good.
from the ocean, so that would be amazing.
Good seafood. I think that's where Brennan from Droner had his first oyster.
This guy, Jonathan, you drive slower than I do. You're like this. You're 20 something years old, and you're like this. Sonny.
Well, you know, the one thing I'm hoping will happen is that next year, if I come up to snowboard with you, that I'll get to meet Jonathan on the slopes, because I got to meet him in as a speaker, which he came to spoke at Spin Down, which was awesome, much appreciated. But I want to see that guy on the slopes, and I want to, as a dude who's over 50, this guy here, Sean, tell him I'm not a bad snowboarder for a Texan.
He can go fast enough to not fall too far behind Jonathan. So for like, if he's falling behind me a little bit, then he's really going to fall behind you.
Yeah, but it's not about falling behind. It's about that technique, right? You told me I needed to do the
Jonathan
swivel
likes
hips.
to go fast. When I first started riding with Jonathan, he had a nice pace, and as he's gotten better, he's just doing all the same stuff, but at a faster speed.
Gotcha.
So hopefully he will be in town when you guys come. Maybe he can stay with us, and we'll all rent a badass condo or something.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going
to
throw some FPV goggles on Jonathan and see just how fast he is.
There you go. You should totally let him.
Jonathan, you ever flown FPV? Let's see if he's.
I have not let him try mine yet, so
okay.
I don't think he has.
Yeah, we'll settle up a little. Yeah, Sunrise Water Media is right. What a compliment, Sean. He can go fast enough not to fall too far behind.
No, Kelly holds his own. Now Ed, on the other hand, we'll lose Ed.
Yeah, but Ed's like second time to ever snowboard.
Ed's killing it. Ed and I went out and we went to A Basin and we put in the work, and he listened and he worked on what I told him to do, and it just, by the end of the day, I had him at the top of A Basin, which is definitely a feat.
And the thing is too, Ed is a good looking dude, so he's got that going for him.
Well, I mean, you can't really see that when you're snowboarding. You're all covered in masks and goggles.
Yeah, I know, but he just carries it.
Oh, let's see. So, Jonathan, just since I know you don't know the difference between spin down and spin up. Spin Up is the event that Kelly puts together that actually has a bunch of speakers, similar to how you came out and spoke at Spin Down.
Yeah,
similar to that.
A drone conference.
Yeah, so it's drone and YouTube related stuff, and then other events. And usually the day after we do Spin Down, which is more a casual hangout like what we did up here in Colorado. So that's the difference.
Which we're going to do. And again, for everybody who's just joining, Spin Up will Friday evening when people arrive, that'll be November 5th. We'll have, that's Cinco de November. We will have a get together at a restaurant somewhere. And then the event will be on Saturday. It's going from 10 till 6 is kind of what the plan is this year. And part of the reason is because Spin Out with Dobo. That's funny.
Well, Spin Out was the one we did. I brought Ed and Dobo to my dad's land, and the bat flew around, and he freaked out like all crazy. Yeah,
he freaks out about any sort of animal. But then the event will be on Saturday, and then Sunday we will get together and fly. So, and also just so everybody knows, there will be a cool spot to fly. The center where we're going to be is in Cedar Park. It has 3 rooms that are all adjoined. So we're basically taking over their entire meeting space. It's normally 3 rooms, but they have walls that open. So it's going to be, it holds about 200 people. And then there's patio doors, kind of like we had at the Dell Diamond or at the Boy Scout Center, where you can walk out. There's a patio with picnic tables and stuff. And then there's a little pond there. There's a hiking trail and basically a green space right by there where you can fly. So you will be able to fly a little bit at that area. It isn't like right in the middle of a city or something.
Nice. So basically, Friday we're going to have sort of a welcoming dinner. Saturday morning we're going to probably get a group of people to go fly somewhere, and you guys can make up your own thing. If you don't want to join all of us, you can go fly and figure out your own thing too. No one's going to stop you. And then we have the event, which has little breaks, and there's some other cool stuff that Kelly has buzzed my ear about that we can't talk about yet.
Yeah,
that I think
we're,
would be
we're gonna
of
mix it up
fun.
a little bit this year, so it's definitely gonna be fun.
It's going to be really fun for those who come in person. I think you guys are really going to have a blast. Jonathan, you're more than welcome to go with me. It's November 6th, so I know the snowboard season has started, and you probably will say no. However, if you do want to have an experience for like a couple days and then fly back, just film a few videos for snowboarding that you can post while you're out of town, and you'll be good. So something to keep in mind. And then after the event, we'll do something, get together. Some of us will go night flying, some of us will go bowling, some of us will go to bars. And then Sunday is the spin down event, which will be hopefully at that park Kelly's talking about.
Old
That's
Settlers,
very, yep, very casual. You know, you can bring a picnic lunch if you want, or you can just come hang out. Maybe there'll be a grill. We can bring some burgers and stuff like we tried to do up here, but there was a fire ban. Or no, that wasn't a fire ban. That was a COVID ban.
No, we ended up having that pizza from the place next to your shop, which was awesome.
Yeah, that worked out. No one had to cook that way too. So maybe we can have pizza brought in. That would be pretty killer.
40 new ski resorts to reach your goal. Wow,
Yeah.
dude, that is
he's trying to ride every single ski resort in North America.
Dang.
Yeah, and he's
How many
killing.
are there? How many are there? Do you think?
I think there's 100 and something, aren't there? Jonathan knows how many. Jonathan, how many ski resorts are in North America right now?
Yeah, and
small and big.
I will tell you, when you find the crappiest one with just the smallest lift or whatever, I want to go. I want to go right there with you.
He's already found that one. It's got one. I think it's a tow rope.
Oh,
It's just a tow rope.
467. Wow,
That's more than I thought there were.
So you'd have to do 40 a year for 10 years, or 46 a year, 47 a year for 10 years. That's ambitious, man.
Yeah. Well, he's young. He's got it.
Yeah, it's true.
That is a lot more ski resorts. I thought there was 150 or so, but I was way off.
Dang, yeah. And it's actually the one that I've been to probably the most times because it's an easy drive is Angel Fire, New Mexico. You guys ever been to Angel Fire?
I've not been to that one yet. I have been in New Mexico. I've only been to Ruidoso.
Okay, and that's pretty small. That's like one of the smaller ones, I would say. I think Angel Fire.
It was. I don't know if it still is, but it was the most further south resort there was in America.
Where Texans go. Yeah.
And I got to show you this picture now that you speak that. I'm going to show you a couple of quick pictures here.
Okay.
Let me pull them.
Is this from that One Man's Junk site?
You wish.
Everybody Google One Man's Junk for.
I'm never going to see that as the same thing. So this picture here, Kelly, is when I was 17 on the left. This is on the way up to Ruidoso, right? And that is a spot you would pull over and take a picture.
Yeah.
And that's me at, I guess that was probably maybe 6 years ago.
Man.
Yeah, those are just jeans. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you notice, the hat's like really, really long and goes all the way to my waist.
Yeah, like a jester hat.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I was riding with at 17.
Were you snowboarding back then?
Yeah, well, I was trying. That's when I first tried.
Okay.
They didn't have like regular boards the way they do now.
Yeah. It was like you wore boots. You wore regular boots, right? Not snowboard.
They
boots.
had snowboard boots of some sort, but I mean, I'm trying to think what year that was when I was 17. I'd have to do the math, but I'd have to get a calculator. Let's see.
When I was 17.
But the thing is, we went back there many, many years later. I was probably 40, 42, something like that, in the picture to the right. And we found the same pullout and got the exact same picture. And if you look at it, you can see they removed the bench. They redid the concrete. Because of safety issues, they redid the rail with, slats in it.
Yep.
Yeah. So
little kids were jumping over the cliff.
So I think it was 1990 or 1991. Gina just jumped in the live chat and answered my question. And it was, we held up the old picture. We found it online because it was somewhere on my Facebook, and Gina helped me take it, and we lined it up as close as we could. And you can see, if you look at the background, the hills and everything are exactly the same. Yeah.
And
that was pretty cool.
And that punk ass dude is the same too.
Yeah. If you look past like how much thicker I am in the picture to the right, I look very similar.
You do look very similar. No, it's funny. I actually ran into a guy. So just Austin has a new football team, and by football I mean soccer. But you don't call it soccer to them; they call it football.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a video for their stadium for the company that's sponsoring the stadium. So I was at the game on Saturday, and I ran into a guy that I worked with 30 years ago, and he looks the same. He said I look the same, and I'm like, no way, dude, I don't look the same. But he's like, yeah, you look just the same. But what's funny is he's a weatherman. I used to work at a TV station, and he is super famous in Austin. He's like the favorite weatherman in Austin. So I'm talking to him for like 30 seconds, and the next thing you know, I'm relegated to taking fan pictures for him with every fan that walked up. So every fan that comes up hands me their phone, and I took their picture. And I'm like, hey, okay, Jim, it's great catching up with you. I gotta go.
So real quick, I saw Matt posted this about Spring Hill Suites. Is that a motel you're recommending, or is that close to the event?
It probably is. It's honestly, there are probably in that area 10 reasonably priced hotels, like right around that center. So it's right by, if you guys are looking for a reference, it's right by the HEB Center, which is also called the Cedar Park Center. I actually considered doing the event there, but their space, you can't rent the entire floor, which is where the concerts and stuff are. You can only get their event space, their meeting space, and it's tiny, so it wasn't big enough. But if you just, yeah, there's a ton of stuff around there. There's restaurants around there. There's a park right next to it. There's hotels all around there. So I'm going to go ahead and
Yeah, I see. They say it's about a mile from the venue.
yeah, there is actually a hotel, and this is the one I'm going to contact. There's a hiking trail that goes from the venue to this hotel. I mean, you can see it. There's a little bridge, because there's like a little, I'd call it, I don't want to call it a lake. It's more like a pond or a retention pond or something, but there's a little bridge that goes over it. And then you go another, I don't know, 100 yards and you're at this hotel. So if you wanted to actually literally park at your hotel and literally walk over, plenty of parking at this place too. It has a big parking lot in the back and then parking lot in the front. It's basically has a sports center, but it has this event. And what's really cool about it is I actually got a guy who is going to speak. He has a website and an organization called Roboters. And so he's into these robot competitions where they build robots and
Oh, cool.
fight each other.
Yeah, like robot battles or something like that.
Yeah, he does that. He does that here in Austin, but he is actually starting to get into having that for drones too. So he's looking to get flying into it. And these are all like netted arenas where these things go at it.
I love the idea, because if you've heard me talk about combat gliders, I was super into that.
Yeah,
combat drones, right? That would be amazing.
Actually, it's really funny because I was talking to Kai yesterday, and we were talking about, he's got a big sailplane, and he was saying how he wants to bring the sailplane to wherever we do spin down. And I said, oh yeah, Sean will like that. He said, oh yeah, I know Sean used to do combat gliders. I was like, how did you even know that?
Oh man, I tell you, I want to do them again. I still have a kit to build one, and they make all these new ones that you can put FPV to, but I want to take the new motors, the brushless motors instead of the brush motors. I want to get the better batteries and take this kit that I have and build it to my specs with that stuff, because it's one of the best combat gliders you could buy back in the day, and it still holds up. It's called the Boomerang.
So for everyone that doesn't know, will you explain what combat gliders are?
Oh man, if you can talk for just a second, I will do even better and find a video.
You're gonna go get it? Yeah, I can talk for a second. I've been known to do that.
No, are you sure?
Let me just see. Let me see who's in the chat here. So as I said earlier, we have Matt Cundiff, Drone Nation in the chat, Miss Oz in the chat, Gina, good to see you, DD in the chat, Chris Hope in the chat, Brad in the chat, my brother Brad from Virginia. We got Ray Kelly, of course, is hanging out. Yeah, we got a really good group here. I don't even know how many people are watching. I've just got the chat as a pop out here, but let's see. Hey, we got 28. That's awesome. If people too have questions about Spin Up, you can seriously email me at kelly@ReadySetDrone. But there's been a few things that are common questions: where to stay for the hotel, of course, who the speakers are. that stuff I'm very much on top of because of this project I've been working on for the Austin FC, which is the stadium thing, which is due on Wednesday because it's going to play next Sunday at their home game. I have just been and traveling. I've been varied with not doing that stuff. And so that's all stuff that once I get this video out, I'll be able to do. But I think it's going to be pretty easy to get the room blocks. Last year or 2 years ago, when we did it at the Boy Scout Center, the hotels next to that were just thrilled to have everybody there. You know, they're very welcoming. I think hotels, of course, suffered a little bit for the last year. So I think they're anxious to get people back in them.
And before I show this video, two things. One, tell your buddy Drone Destroyers. That's a pretty good name if he makes a show out of it.
I like it.
And it looks like where is it? Everyone is staying. I haven't seen anyone mention a different hotel in the chat besides Spring Hill Suites.
Spring Hill Suites.
So I don't know if you have already talked to them, or since you sounds like you haven't, maybe that might be one to go ahead and recommend.
Yes.
Since everyone's already there.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll offer, I mean, it would suck for the guys who have already done it, but maybe they'll still be able to get in on a block of rooms and it won't be too late. Who knows?
I think even if you have a reservation, you can still do that. They're pretty, they're pretty good about that. And again, there's also some that are close together. So if you're staying at one and people are staying at the other one, that was my only real regret actually about Spin Down in Dillon last year is I didn't get a room at the Best Western. I didn't have to stay somewhere else. Yeah, I know. And that was totally on me. I just like, it was probably a month out that I tried to book it and it was already all booked. I was like,
we had a quick, I mean, we had a limited amount of people we were allowed to have at that and it filled up pretty quick. I think my worry was two things. The altitude is hard on some people who aren't used to it. And two, it is about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on traffic from the airport. The nice thing is that you can actually take a shuttle from the airport and not even have to get a rental car and just shuttle the whole way up here and stay at that hotel. And everything is within walking distance that you're going to need for that. So hopefully we'll be able to figure it out again. I think it would be really cool. And it's such a beautiful place for drone flying.
If you don't have a room, better bring a tent, Drone Nation says. Hey, you know, actually, and November is not a bad time to camp in Austin. I have an annual camping trip I go on the weekend before Thanksgiving every year, and that's like a great time. And usually there's a big cold front that comes in right before Thanksgiving, so hopefully we'll be ahead of that. And
it sounds like by this hotel, they're also the Spring Suites. There's a little lake next to it. Sounds like it might be a winner. Like I'm gonna have to check it out myself. So although I have family there, I like to stay at the hotel that everybody's staying at because I think it's a lot of fun to get together in the lobby and hang out and everything.
For sure. And it will be, you know, we're going to go a little bit later on the day of the event, at least 6 o'clock, because we're starting a little bit later. So I think if you're staying in that area, it'll make things a lot easier, you know, for people to be able to go back to their hotel, get cleaned up, go to dinner, whatever, you know, go bowling.
Yes, definitely. Let's see. I'm just going through the chat real quick. Man, just more and more about that same hotel. I'm definitely going to have to look that up.
We need to fly another lighthouse, Drone Nation. Yes. Oh, man. I will tell you, for those of you that don't know about Captain Ray Kelly and Matt Cundiff and the folks out in Florida, they have a great meetup out there, too. And that's one place that I'd like. Yeah. That's one place I would like to fly because I feel like there is a lot of lighthouses, a lot of beach, a lot of what's he saying? It's booked.
He's saying it's already booked. Well, that's a bummer.
We'll see. Let me call him. I'll bet if I tell him we can get him 10 or 20 more rooms booked, they might change their tune.
Well, I mean, if they're already booked though. But yeah, I'm waiting. Yeah, let me know if you talk to him and you find something out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to that Florida event. Let me share the combat glider real quick before we get too far off about it. This is just somebody else's video I found, but this is what I used to do. It's a lot of fun. Let me make it full screen. And I'll tell you a pretty funny story about it once I get this going. So I would do it in Long Beach, right? So they're just wings. There's no motor in them. I mean, there's some with props as well, which is what I want to build a new one of with the battery and the props. So I can find a thermal out here, and you can, when you have one like that, and you can get a thermal and you can get it up in the air. You can fly for like 3 hours on one.
And you're just flying line of sight, right?
Yep. Yep.
Uh-huh.
But what I want to do is actually put a camera on it with a digital and be able to fly long range. So I got to figure out the longest range I can use, to be able to, because the DJI FPV drone doesn't go nearly as far as I want to be able to go. I'm not even close, to be honest.
But how do you do a glider? Like, how do you fly far away when you get off the thermal? Don't you start to drop?
Because the one that I want to build, you actually have a motor in the back.
Ah,
So
okay.
it's a brushless
So
motor.
it's a flying wing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But we would combat those as well. So when they'd hit and two would go straight up in the air and they're spinning and they'd hit each other, you'd hear the motors go slap, 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 slap as they're cutting through the EPP foam. Which was
and then they're super easy to fix, right?
Oh yeah. You can run over these things with a car, and as long as the car doesn't run over the servos, you're good. Because all you have in this is you have their ailerons, right? So you just have two flaps that do this. That's it.
Yeah.
And so you have two servos, and an ESC, and a battery.
And so right now,
right there, they hit each other right there.
These guys are all doing lift off of the side of the slope, though.
Yep, exactly. And so what happens is you don't want to crash, because then you got to hike down the slope.
Well, I will tell you that at what's it called in Tennessee? Why am I blanking on this? Ken Herron's event. Please, somebody help me out here. Minefield in Tennessee. So Mel from 400 AGL, he and I both had little foamy planes.
Did you guys battle?
We tried to hit each other. Like we were basically, thank you, Chris. We were basically trying to hit each other and, just line of sight. And we got close a bunch of times, but we never actually could hit each other. And so it's kind
much
of
harder than people would think.
Yeah. And the thing is, I guess really the trick is to try not to hit the other person, and then you'll do it. It's like, okay, I got to avoid.
That's funny. I can remember going once to Long Beach, the cliff in Long Beach, which is nice because you got the beach all right there and the ocean's right there. The Queen Mary is over here.
Oh, yeah.
And you got the updraft coming from the ocean, and it hits cliff, and that's what you fly on. And there was a rail there, and I was practicing barrel rolls, coming right down, getting up in the thermal, coming down right by that railing, just rolling 2 or 3 times right by it. And the catch is you always turn into the wind, right? You have to do the roll into the wind, because if you go the other way, the wind will push it and you fly into whatever's there. And I had a little bit of a brain fart. I was going, and I come in and I barrel roll and just go smack right into my face and knock my hat right to the ground. It was horrible.
I think I saw on Ken Herron's show 2 or 3 weeks ago. It might have been, I don't remember if I was on it or if I was just watching it, but there was a FPV pilot, and I'm blanking on his name now, but he was doing a commercial gig, and he was following these people down a hallway, and he did a really good pass. And so he turned around and came back, and he was narrating this, talking about what happened. He came back, flew over them, and then he tried to come in hot and land in his own lap. And he hit himself right in the head in front of the entire film crew. It was pretty awesome.
Luckily, nobody was there but me when I did that.
Yeah.
And it was way before I had GoPros. I don't even think GoPro was a thing yet.
Oh, dang.
Otherwise, I would have been filming it, and I'd have it somewhere to show everyone.
GoPros have been a thing for a long time, so that must have been a long time ago.
It was. I think I was in my 20s.
What was your first GoPro? Remember which one you had?
The 4 was the first that I used regularly, but I have right here.
Like a Hero 2?
This is just the Hero.
Oh, the original.
Yeah, so they made a lot of different versions of this guy.
Oh, man.
But I'm trying to get it to work again, because I've been wanting to make a video side by side of the newest one versus this.
Sean, you know what we need to do?
Huh.
I have a Phantom 1, like an original Phantom with no camera on it. The Phantom didn't even have a camera. It just had a action camera mount.
Yeah, it had the little spot for it.
Yeah. We should throw that on my Phantom 1.
If I can get it to work in time. Otherwise, we could throw in maybe like the GoPro 4 or something.
What's wrong with it? Battery?
I haven't been able to get it to work. Yeah, I haven't really tried that hard, but
wow.
It might need a new battery. That could be it.
Well,
I don't have another one to test to see if that's it, but
it doesn't have a USB connection so you can charge it?
It has the old school one, so let me plug it in right now. Somebody gave this to me, and I've been meaning to do something with it for a long time.
Dude, we got to throw it on my Phantom 1. I think that would be like totally meta or so
That,
totally retro.
well, yeah, especially if we do like a comparison. There we go.
Actually, what's funny is so Drone Nation says Hero 7.
Come
And
on.
yes, the Hero 7 is when they actually the Hero 5 was a pretty good.
Yep. The 5 is when they made the change.
Yeah,
and they made it waterproof without a casing needed.
Got a lot
and
better.
Stabilization got in there.
But hyper smooth on the Phantom 1 actually looks pretty good. I did a video with it. I put a Phantom. I think I put a Hero 7 on my Phantom 1 and just flew around, and you could totally see it.
Well, this thing's so old now that I've opened the battery bay door, it will not stay shut now.
Got to get some tape on there. Hey, what's up, Kai? We were just looking at some foamies, some winged combat gliders. Sean wants to fly your flying wings. So Kai has built a whole bunch of those flying wings with FPV on them. So
nice.
Yeah,
I will pick his brain then. Maybe I'll no. It's be hard to bring the box there because I have mine that I haven't built. Hey, Jake Sloan's in the house tonight too. That's man. We got a nice rotating door of people tonight.
Yeah, for sure. No, one of my favorite things to do with FPV is to chase those wings because the wings are a nice big flat surface.
Yeah, so you can see them.
Yeah, if you just kind of get a little bit above it and then you get enough speed to where your camera's slightly tilted down, you can just follow them really easily.
It just beeped.
Hey, what's up, Ben? I see Ben in the house.
That means we should be able to make it work.
Jake Sloan, you need to come down to Austin and come to Spin Up. What's up with that?
Did you hear that, Kelly?
I hear the beep.
Yeah, we might actually be able to make this thing work.
Does that thing take like a compact flash? You know, like one of those big square cards.
You know, I haven't even looked to see what it takes. It looks like it. Yeah. It looks like right here on the side, a big SD card right on the side.
Okay, it's an SD though.
I think so.
Or does it take a DV tape? Do you put a DV tape into it?
Let me see. I have an extra SD card right here. It's been so long. I don't know.
Wow. You should
it's
film
an SD
your next
card. Yeah, regular SD
film
card.
Your next video with that.
Yeah, I've got to definitely going to have to tape it. I'm glad it's not like the Canons. The Canon cameras, if the door doesn't stay shut, won't record. So I don't understand why this one's not shutting on me, but we'll figure it out. It just does. It's just too old. It's just the little clasp isn't working.
Drone Nation says it takes a floppy disk.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? A lot of people when they think
floppy disk,
they think of the hard floppy disk. But like I remember
the
old
floppy disk, the 5 1/4. Yeah, the big ones. That would be, yeah. Or actually, I don't know if everybody in the chat could tell us what was your first computer that you had, and I will tell you guys what mine was. It was a Commodore VIC-20, and the VIC-20 had a cassette deck that actually recorded your programs, and you could buy programs
games off of those. Remember,
you play games. Yeah, you could put it in, and there was a game called Amok that was kind of like this. It was kind of like a really bad version of Robotron, but a T-1000. That's what Johnny. Wait, now isn't that from Terminator? That's what Johnny Drone Flyer says. Let's see. Anybody else? Timex 1000. Okay, Commodore VIC-20. Yep, that was Timex Sinclair. So Brad
my neighbor had a Commodore 64,
which was worlds better than the VIC-20, by the way.
Yeah, and then my first that my dad got, wanting me to learn BASIC and all that kind of stuff, was a TI.
Okay, so yeah, people are talking about the time. Oh, that was the Texas Instruments.
That's correct.
Okay.
And I remember writing code like you'd go 10, go to 30 if, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It was BASIC.
Yeah.
That was the language.
And I'd make a ball bounce around and be like, look what I did.
Tandy one. Yep. I did. I made one where you could make these little birds fly around on the screen.
Yeah.
Commodore 64 was Michael Wright. ATT 6300. Tandy 1000. The Atari 400. Yeah, so the Atari 400 was the one that had the flat keyboard. It didn't actually have keys. They were like, it was kind of a flat panel and you had to press on it. And then the Atari 800 came out.
What was everybody's first video game system?
Sinclair ZX 8100. Well, my parents got a Pong set, like a Pong thing.
Yeah.
With the little joystick. And then we had this one, and I don't even remember what it was called, but it was like a giant keyboard. It had a number pad on this side and a number pad on this side. And the only games you could play on it was like a car racing game where you basically had this blocky car that you could move left and right. Huh. And then other cars would come and you had to avoid them. And then a bowling game where the ball would go up and down and you'd push a button and it would go boop. And then if you hit the wall, boop, bounce up and knock that. But then in television.
Yeah, okay. Television was cool. So my dad bought us an Atari, the first Atari.
2600.
Yep. So we had, Asteroids and then the worst version of Pac-Man you've ever seen. And then we had the ColecoVision.
The
ColecoVision. I still have some games. I still have some games for the ColecoVision.
Do you remember the Smurf game on ColecoVision?
I do.
Did you play it where you double bounce? So my neighbor had ColecoVision, and the only game we ever played was a Smurf game. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like Smurfy Smurf, Papa Smurf.
I just remember
Smurf,
that
Smurf.
Donkey Kong was the better version for Coleco. Like
on the ColecoVision.
Yeah, and the Pac-Man, and that was one of the first ones that started having better replicas of the actual arcades. Oh, what? We got Ken Dono.
He says those chairs look like something straight out of the Hilton lobby. Dude, I stole them from the Hilton. Shh, Ken.
They do. I didn't even notice them.
No. Shh, don't
That's
be
great.
telling people. Dang it.
I will mess with this. I think we're going to have to tape the back, but it does seem like this battery from however old this is. I'm not even sure what year this came out. If somebody wants to check, that would be cool. But yeah, it seems to be holding a charge for some amount of time. We might not get that long of a charge out of it.
So for everyone just joining, we're going to throw the original GoPro Hero on the original Phantom 1 and see what happens.
Yeah, we're going to just tape this back, and I will bring this waterproof case.
Tape it to the bottom of the drone.
Well, if people don't know, what the original drones had were these little rubber bumpers, like 4 of them.
Yeah.
These bumpers, and your camera sat there.
Yep. Yeah, they still use those on some things for like vibration dampening, but what was funny was when I got the original Phantom 1, I was trying to get smooth shots with it. And there were a couple things you could do. You could take it out of GPS mode and put it in ATTI mode, which was attitude mode, which basically meant no GPS. It was still stabilized. And what you would do is you would hit like the left or right. You would get it to tilt over and kind of go. And then you would let go and it would level out. And it would just kind of keep drifting that direction. Yep. And that was the smoothest part of the shot. And I still have it, actually. I had a propeller balancer. So it was a magnet that you would stick on either side. So it's 2 magnets up like this, and then a post that went through and went on either side of the propeller. And you would take sandpaper. I mean, this is not that long ago. It's like 2013, 2012.
We used to do that on airplanes.
You would take sandpaper and sand down one side so that when you set it like this, it would stay like this. It wouldn't go.
Gotcha.
It would. You could tell if one side or the other was heavier. Anyway,
it's really interesting with the current lineup of drones. A lot of people are still so worried about the props, and you can actually fly with props missing 3/4 to
big chunks out of them.
Yeah. Big old chunks out of them, and they'll fly just fine. I mean, I don't recommend anyone do that. So don't go do that and then come back and say, Sean said. Yeah, don't do that. But you can.
Yeah. No. They're very forgiving. They're very forgiving these days. I mean, just what happens is one motor spins a little faster or something. But you had to balance your props in the old days. This is true. And the old days being 2013. Your first drone was steam powered.
Oh, that was pretty good.
Had this little crank on it, and you would turn the crank
and then get it going. But my first real plane was a rubber band powered little balsa wood plane.
Yeah,
spin it up.
Those were awesome.
And you let go. And my first RC plane, Kelly, was the one that had a wire and a button you push on it, and you just go in a circle.
Yeah, it was a control line. It's called a control line.
Yeah,
and if you pulled the stick, if you did it like that, the thing would go up, and if you did it like that, it would go down.
Yeah,
2 wires.
Mine only had 1 wire. My parents were cheap; they didn't give me the 2-wire one.
The 2-wire basically it would pull a little lever, and that lever would activate the elevator. So that was the only control you had on it was so if you pulled this way, it would make the elevator go up, and so the plane would go up, and you would get to where you'd have a buddy. Because my dad had these, and he showed me how to do them. And you would go around in circles, and then you would tie a ribbon to the back of the plane, and you would try to cut the other guy's ribbon with the propeller. It was very hard to do.
Yeah, for the one I had with the one wire, you could still make it go up and down, but it was just twisting your wrist, and it would still, because of the centrifugal force, would still go up and down.
And you know, honestly, you could tie a washer to like a little, you know, one of those little washers or a nail to the end of a string and do the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Flying a plane.
That would be funny to get a hold of one of those and make a video as well.
Oh, control line. Yes.
We're going to do a whole series of videos that goes towards people's nostalgia.
Retro. Yeah. Well, you know, what's really funny is I've wanted to for a while do some videos about Intellivision, because I was really good at some of those games. Do you remember Burger Time? Did you ever play Burger Time?
Yeah, I was actually, can you see these over here? They make a Burger Time one.
Oh, dude.
Are we going to replace one of those chairs with Burger Time?
Yes, right there. My Burger Time setup is going to go right there. I'll return it to the Hilton. Shh. Damn you,
I'll find it for you.
All right. A Burger Time stand-up console. And you would walk across the I don't know if anybody ever played Burger Time, but you would walk across the buns and they would go boop, 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 and drop down on the patties and everything. It was awesome. Good old games. Intellivision is actually re-releasing. They're coming out with a new version of the console. This company called Amico is making it, and I've been following them. They were supposed to come out in like 2018, but they're still not released yet.
All right, there you go. There's Burger Time right there. It's sold out at the moment, but I think they normally sell for about $350, something like that.
That's it?
Yeah.
So there's actually, Sean, there's a company here in Austin called S&B Amusements. And for a long time, until my former business partner negotiated it away from me, I had a stand-up arcade game in my office.
Nice. And, you know, now they've got somewhere you can have like 1,000 games on one.
Yeah, this had like 60 games or so.
You can see this one's 4 games in one: Burger Time, Karate Champ, Bad Dudes, Caveman Ninja.
I've only heard of Burger Time out of those. Like, who's played Caveman Ninja? All right, dude, I gotta pee.
All righty.
Can you carry the show for a minute, or should I just do it right here?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
I'll be right back.
You go do your thing. All right, let's talk to the audience. Let me get rid of this Burger Time window real quick. And poof. Hello, everybody. My name is Sean Oz. If you're catching us late, this is the World of Oz channel, where I like to share with you drones, action cameras, snowboarding, mountain, fun life stuff, just here in the mountains. Anyways, this year I'm going to be doing a lot more with some more action camera stuff, because there's a lot of cool stuff like supposedly coming out this fall, like the GoPro 10, the GoPro Max 2. I did just get the X2, which is a fun camera, and the Go2 little guy here, which we talked about at the very beginning of the show. Hopefully this video will be out tomorrow. If not, then the day after. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the chat, because it's so much easier to carry a show when I have someone to talk to. I see there's still quite a few people in here. That's great. We're going to probably only going to be doing the show for a little bit longer. If anybody has any questions about spin up or spin down, and Donkey Kong is the one that I wish I could put so badly next to my Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man Galaga and Dig Dug. That would be so cool to have a Donkey Kong right there. And Kelly is back. That was quick.
For everyone, by the way, for everyone who would like, if you could, please feel free to join the Spin Up. We have a Spin Up group on Facebook. And so
we should share that in the chat.
Yeah. If you go to Facebook and just search for Spin Up, you'll find it. But you don't have to be coming to Spin Up to join. It's kind of just talking about the original purpose was to talk about where the hotels were, where people were staying, if you needed to like share a rental car with somebody, all that kind of stuff too. The Spin Up Facebook group is online now. I think we have about 40 members. I just launched it a few days ago. So you don't have to be coming to Spin Up. Just join and hang out.
And that's something we have not mentioned. So if you are here and somehow you made it this far in the replay, obviously it's a lot easier to make it this far live. We are doing an online version of Spin Up. So if you cannot make it, you live in Europe, you live somewhere else, and you just can't make it, what we did last year, Kelly is providing in a much cooler way, it sounds like,
Yeah.
this year. So don't
it's
feel
gonna
like, crap, I'm going to miss it.
And also for everyone who, if you don't already watch Geek Savannah, that's the other Sean, the English Sean with the posh accent. Geek Savannah will be doing the official Spin Up pre-show. So that's going to happen the morning of. He'll be doing it from the UK. Last year he had a few UK folks and European folks on with him just to kind of warm everybody up. So if you're up early and you want to watch something before you watch Spin Up, go watch Geek Savannah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sean. So I think it was Michael Wright or somebody asked earlier if my dad was coming this year, and he's going to come to Spin Up. But a lot of people, including my dad, said that Sean was the best speech from 2019.
And I appreciate that. And Kelly's trying to do a whole new, so we're not having repeats, but I have offered him my services if he does need to fill a space. And I thought I would do something more, obviously more YouTube related, drone related, but something to help push that. And
we have a plan. You and I talked about this earlier.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't want to give it away. I'm just
don't give it away. No, it's going to be fun. We're going to do some. I think this year, instead of just presentations back to back, we're going to have games and some friendly competition in between the speeches. So.
Yeah, because that was fun, and everybody up playing a rock, paper, scissors, At the end there, they seeing the whole crowd up like that. That was a blast.
Yeah. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is without. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Just tip me over and pour me out. And you got to sing with me. I'm a little teapot.
Oh, keep going.
That works with just about any. That works with just about any nursery rhyme. It's weird.
I'm a little teapot.
Wow, the robots have joined. All right, so we got a firm commitment from Jake Sloan. He's going to be there. He's probably not still in the chat anymore. But Jake Sloan, if you are, I'm making promises for you. I heard Dobo's only making one trip this year. It's going to be to Spin Up. Great job, Dobo. Thanks for calling me out on the Hilton chairs. And I know a lot of folks in there. That was the metal version. No, guys. Again, if you can't come, it definitely is something we're going to stream. And so would love to have you guys in the live stream. And again, join the Facebook group if you can.
Yep, and I think we've covered most everything. Obviously, as this event gets closer, I'll be posting more on my channel. Kelly be posting more on his channel. I'm sure you'll see more people talking about this on all their channels, whether they do drone stuff, action stuff, camera stuff, just whatever. And Jake, have you booked a ticket yet? Because you really need to come. And I know you're not making it, kid. That's what I told Kelly earlier. You're probably not going to be able to make it. We're bummed to see you not make it, but
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how he feels in September.
October. Yeah, it is November.
You've heard of FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Fear of missing out, FOMO.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I got you. I'm not good with abbreviations. That's something that all the kids are doing these days, and I suck at it.
Yeah, I'm one of the kids.
You're one of the kids. I'm horrible. I'm like, spell that out because I don't get it.
Yeah, my kids pretty much talk all in like slang, like kid slang, and so I don't know what they're talking about. And
Sergio, sounds like Sergio's coming. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I think his brother's coming too, so
nice.
Even better.
I think we're gonna have a bunch of regulars and a bunch of new people too this year.
Uh-oh.
Did you hear that? Yeah, that's the dogs. So when I thought I was having to move out of this house, I started taking all my soundproofing foam off. So this room is more echoey now. And I'll tell you one thing: don't use double-sided tape on a regular room wall, because like I've had to get this little guy here.
You have to repaint.
Come off. Well, I've got to scrape it all off. I don't know if you can see how narrow that is.
I've got a hack for you, because Sean, you've been to my old office, my old studio, and we had that soundproofing all around in there, and I just used spray mount, like spray glue, and it peeled the paint. It peeled the paint right off, and it was actually quite bad. The only good thing is the new tenant that was moving in was actually redoing, so they were tearing those walls down. So the landlord was like, "It's fine," and gave me my money back. But for the new space where I also have the foam up, we actually stapled paper up. So we got some pretty heavy duty paper, stapled it all, like it's basically rolls. So we stapled it all along the wall in strips, and then we glued to that. So basically all you're going to have is some staple holes.
I'm going to do something very similar. You know, the thicker foam that you use to do like the science projects?
Yeah.
I'm going to actually cut those to fit, not the science foldy ones, but just the big foam boards. Yeah. I'm going to cut those to fit, and then I'll staple those on. Once they're cut to fit, I'll remove them. I'll put the foam on those and then put them back up and just some staples and just like that. Nice. And then I have like that 2-inch foam will become like 2 1/4.
And you guys wouldn't believe, because I've been in the room where Sean is right now. That room is tiny. It doesn't look like it on video, but that is a very, very small room that you've made look very cool. So well done on that.
The idea that I have. So here's the thing. I am planning to move this room into the master bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm going to have like this big, because I want to get more arcade cabinets.
So you'll have your burger time and your,
okay. Well, here's what they're coming out with that made me go, oh God, I have to get it.
Zaxxon?
Dragon Slayer and Space Ace combo.
Oh, so Dragon Slayer was the cartoon one, right? That was the one
you just push one way or the other.
Yeah. It was like, what do you do? I'm going to jump. Oh,
100% for nostalgic reasons, and I've never made it to the end. I never had enough quarters to get to the end of that one.
Okay, there you go. Dragon
Slayer.
Yeah,
so the plan is I can set up my music gear again. Speaking of which, there's a good chance that my old band might be doing a reunion show this year or early 2022. And if that goes well, we might finally cut the album that we talked about forever ago. We might not start playing a bunch of shows, but we're going to try to finish some stuff. And there's talks of us doing a new project. So, yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
So if that's the case, maybe I'll have to come up and get Chris to mix some music for us.
Definitely. He can do it.
Yeah, he's pretty talented.
The man with music mixing. For those of you who have not seen have you seen the remix he did of me?
Yes, I have.
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
If he can take that and make it sound cool, then he can take anything and make it sound cool.
Yeah, that was definitely pretty cool. Well, it is already been over an hour, and I think we're gonna wrap this show up because I know it's a little later where you are than I am. If anybody has any questions before we go about Spin Up, please don't hesitate to ask. The only dumb question is the one not asked. Well, that's what they say, at least.
Well, yeah, and seriously, if you guys also are thinking about it or planning to go or not planning to go but still interested, go to the. That's
disturbing.
Yeah, go to the user or the Facebook group for Spin Up.
Which was posted earlier by, I think Matt posted it in the chat. So I will try to find that and add that in the description. So if you have made it this far,
good on you for listening to our BS for an hour and a half.
Yeah, right. And we're not going to give away any stickers tonight, but we're going to try to get back to our every first and third Monday. I've considered going every Monday, but that's a big commitment. I'm going to be doing some traveling, and there's a chance that you guys are going to be seeing some live shows not here. Like I might be doing one from Vegas. We'll see. It just depends on when these traveling dates go. If I'm traveling, I'll try to at least do it like a mobile thing, but we're going to try to get right back onto that first and third Monday. So for those here, keep in mind it's every first and third Monday of the month. And what is going on? We see, you're talking about the shirt size. I was wondering who posted that.
Hey, also real quick, if anybody is around on Friday, I will be doing speed dial on Friday, and I have Christian Maliko, who wrote the book called FPV. Hold on, let me grab the book.
Okay, so and Kelly does a live show called every first. Well, his ears are out right now, so he can't hear.
I will have the author of this book on this Friday, and it is. If you're into FPV, he goes into all kinds of stuff about how to do different aerobatic moves and
that's really cool.
What is happening in them? It's very illustrated book with lots of cool tips and tricks on how to fly FPV. So Christian Malika will be my guest on Friday at 7 p.m. Central.
that's really cool because I'll tell you what, on my journey learning it, there's not a lot of information out there to really teach you how to do anything. Like it's a lot of trial and error, you know?
Yeah. Rotor Riot has some good stuff, like some good basic stuff. But this is cool because it kind of gets into like, I mean, the basics of FPV drones and drones in general. Like what's the type of batteries? Like this is an intelligent flight battery versus a regular LiPo. Anyway, the author of this book will be on my show on Friday, so hope you can join.
You know what might make a weird video or interesting one, and it might not work at all, but everything used to be NiCad batteries. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. Nickel
Could
cadmium.
could you fly a drone with one of those and see what happens if it only lasts a minute just to make a video to show what happens?
I will tell you a funny story about a NiCad battery. So I used to shoot. I used to work for a television station, and we had these NiCad batteries that went into the camcorders that we would shoot with, like the Beta SP cameras. And I put one in my pocket one time, and the leads arced on my key and burned my leg. Like basically the key got super hot and burned a thing in my leg. So
I'm glad it was just your leg.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It wasn't one man's junk.
Oh, I'm never gonna see.
I'm going to one. By the way, for everyone who missed that, Sean likes to visit a website called One Man's Junk. So
it's a garage sale site that's turned into a shit talking show. I swear. And with that, I think we're gonna call it a night. We'll share stickers in the next show, everyone. And I appreciate it. There's plenty of stickers still for sale on the Etsy store, which is also linked in the description below. Thanks, Kelly, for coming on. And of course, we'll be promoting this, and I'll see you in, God, what, a couple weeks?
2 weeks. Yeah. 3 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. So, adios. Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye. All right. So he's still backstage. What's he doing back there? I can see him. You guys can't see him. Oh, wait. Can I share this? I've never tried this. This would be crazy if it works. Dun, 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 dun. Why is it not letting me have that option? Nope. I can share the live chat. I can share other things, but I thought I could share the page that I was in, but I can share the entire screen. That'll work. And Kelly's still there. See, right there? There's Kelly. He's just sitting there backstage. Should we bring him back? There he is. He's back.
Everybody remember, one man's junk is Sean's treasure.
Get out of here. Good night, everybody. I hope you had a good show. We'll see you in the next one. Watch out for that Insta360 go-to video coming soon. And remember, today is Prime Day. And if you're considering getting one of these Insta cameras, they are on sale today. Later. What did I do now?